Rohan, welcome.
Hello, Arun. Hello, Deepak.
Hi.
Good to see everybody. Welcome, everyone.
Yeah.
The Honorable Minister has joined. Welcome, Dr. Sudhakar.
Namaskar. Good evening to all.
Namaskaram.
Good evening, Dr. Sudhakar.
Good evening, sir.
All right. So I take my honor and pleasure to welcome everybody for this evening, which is going to be a very exciting session. My name is Rohan Muktali, and I'm the moderator for the session today. Well, we just have about 5 minutes, roughly about 4 minutes for us to join so that we commence the process in a formal manner. Meanwhile, I would also congratulate Arun and Deepak for taking this bold step towards releasing the book. And I sincerely welcome our chief guests for today, Dr. Sudhakar, Mr. Naveen Kottige, and also all the dignitaries who are here. So I think it's an interesting thing normally when we talk about entrepreneurship, and I'm not sure how many of you who are listening me today and listening us today rather on the entrepreneurship already, or some of you could be also about thinking of embarking on that journey. But it's always very interesting to talk about entrepreneurship. In fact, that reminds me of a famous quote which Reid Hoffman said once, that an entrepreneur is somebody who literally jumps off a cliff and then builds a plane on the way down. Very soon we would probably talk about it, that whether Deepak and Arun decided to jump off the cliff first and they opened up the plane, or they have come up or reinvented something which is totally new for all of us, and that's really interesting. And the book really talks about all of this. As Mark Zuckerberg, I think he said that the biggest risk is not taking any risks. So I'm sure this journey has been enthralling with a number of risks, a lot of butterflies around, and particularly resilience and perseverance. Because when I looked at the book, I was extremely pleased and incredibly surprised to see the kind of stories which really, become the part of the book. And that's, I think, really, I would say, your win, both of you, Arun and Deepak, that putting together so much, compiling and, I think I'm reasonably aware, and this is for everybody, that they have totally put together 35, man months together to get this book out today, which we are, quite eager to release this evening. 35 man months, out of which, of course, I would put it about 3.5 to 4 months have been eaten up by the pandemic, which I'm sure must have made their journey a little more tough. But I think that's where the resilience comes in again from an entrepreneur. And what better, to propagate your book. And when you say that, okay, we talk about tough times and turbulent times, well, we are in the pandemic and we're releasing a book. So I think on that note, I once again welcome all of you. People who've just joined and listening to us this evening, it's really a pleasure to host all of you. We are together on this online platform to release and launch a book called Dhool Dhoop Dhakka, which has got a very incredibly distinguished name again, but talks about the journey of an entrepreneur, and how does, these three elements really come, and how do they really, make an impact on the ecosystem of an entrepreneur's life. So I think Deepak and Arun, with your, if you're okay, let's start, the process formally.
Maybe, Rohan, let's wait for 2 more minutes.
Okay.
The people are still joining.
All right.
Give us 2 more minutes. 6:32, I think we should start because
Excellent.
people started joining. Mr. Viiveck Verma has also joined. Sir, thank you so much for joining. He is one of our chief guest.
Absolutely, Mr. Verma. Delighted to host you, and good evening and welcome to the session. We have with us Honorable Minister of Health and Medical Education, Dr. Sudhakar, and our other chief guest, Mr. Kottige, who is also listening to us, from Karnataka, who is also the secretary for the BJP cell of Karnataka. So it's wonderful that we've got the representation of and of course we have Miss Smita Purushotam, who's been the former ambassador to Switzerland, and obviously ma'am, allow me to again reintroduce to you to everybody when we come to the session. But what I'm really surprised about is that this evening we've got a classic representation of the government representatives, of course an array of and a fleet of absolutely successful entrepreneurs. We've got people who worked in the PSUs, and of course, the bureaucrats. So that really makes this discussion quite interesting, and I'm personally quite excited and looking forward. So I think thank you and Arun Deepak for giving me this opportunity to come and really host and moderate this session. So we're looking at about roughly 75 minutes of the total session, and maybe in the next 2 minutes when we start the session, I can take everybody through the schedule for today. That will be helpful for time management, given the fact that each one of us, time is important. And I think meanwhile, if I can request Sakshi, if you want to quickly play the video so that, people talk about, people can discuss about what's really out there. But just, people who again join us just now. We are, here to release the book Dhool Dhoop Dhakka by, which is authored by Arun Lal and Deepak Ghadge. This book particularly aims to serve as a source of inspiration, information, and guide for existing and aspiring entrepreneurs. In fact, when you get a chance to get the copy of the book and when you read it, you'll really realize that how the book's journey has been. But I'll come back with you again once the video is done. Sakshi, over to you, please.
Yeah, sure, sir.
The title what Deepak envisaged was very interesting, and Dhool Dhool Dhakka, that was really exciting to me. The way he went about describing that. Now coming back to the journey, the entrepreneurial journey. Yes, when you say Dhool Dhool Dhakka, what comes to my mind is an entrepreneur has to have fundamentally a killer instinct. So without that, you can't qualify anybody as entrepreneur.
I feel the biggest challenge or biggest shortfalls what I see normally is that people, they are more keen or they are more excited about the future of the company rather than what best they can do in the present situation. More optimistic. So you always either live in the past or you live in the future, but you never enjoy the present.
If I remember it correctly, were you the one who actually sold off your scooter and cycled to work? Was that you or was that somebody else?
No, that was me. I mean, that was my car.
Car, okay. Wow, that's even more a bigger
kind of fund initial capital into the company. So
right.
Yeah, that is something that those are little sacrifices that you have to make. to show the passion that we are getting into, because we all were in a kind of in a cushy jobs with all the perks, right? But when you actually need to start something from scratch, you actually have to move up from that scratch level. And yeah, I mean, that was necessity at that point of time, that we need to kind of put all our blood sweat into the company to make it big.
That is a very toughest moment in my career. First generation entrepreneurs are very strong, bold, and very fast, but they don't want to give the baton to the next generation without verifying their skills and their abilities. So we have to do ourselves that we are capable enough to take over the business, and we make right decisions, and we have shown him that we can also do better decisions, because decision making is very important in any business, and that's where first generation entrepreneurs are more concerned.
Yeah, the salary aspiration is very high,
Right.
which is not. There's nothing wrong with that. I don't believe just desiring a higher salary is bad, but what one has to realize is you have to have higher competency each year.
Absolutely.
Right? If your competency is scaling at the speed at which your comp is scaling, which is fine, because you can do higher paying work.
So when the Kerala floods happened in 2018,
Right.
the first time in Indian history, civilian chopper was pressed into action to airlift these patients or the people from the relief camps.
We had a team meeting around February 25th where we brought down a business continuity plan. The first week of March, we were prepared in all aspects to work from home, got in all the licenses required, moved all desktops to key personnel's homes, arranged financing to ensure that even if we don't have sales, we will be able to, manage. Then started communicating. And when the Janta curfew was announced by our Prime Minister Ji, we were prepared mentally for a longer haul of lockdown that's going to begin. And when lockdown actually started, the organization was completely prepared mentally and also from a digital standpoint.
Even if the whole world believes in you, if you don't believe in yourself, nobody can help you. On the contrary, even if the whole world doesn't believe in you, if you believe in yourself, nobody can stop you. That self-belief, every woman should have. Society is like a bird. Men and women are its two wings. The bird cannot fly with one wing. And India, the bird is trying to fly for too long. I think India may have got independence in 1947. Indians have not, especially the Indian women, especially the financial independence.
खेती में बहुत रिस्क भी है, जैसे कि क्लाइमेटिकल कंडीशन रहता है, ज्यादा बारिश, कभी सूखा, कभी मार्केट गिरता है, बहुत से चैलेंजेस को फार्मर को फेस करना पड़ता है. उसमें कभी-कभी फार्मर ऐसे रिस्क लेते उनका रिस्क लेने का एबिलिटी भी बहुत रहता है, लेकिन कभी-कभी उनका रिस्क उल्टा पड़ता है, कर्जे में डूब जाता है, कर्जा सिर पर आता है और वो ज्यादा फेल्योर लेके फ्रस्ट्रेट होता है.
So when I was talking about the vision for India, I was also to say that you will have to decide, because in most of the cases we are self-sufficient, but now we will have to put focus on quality, focus on exports, and focus on international standards. Producing is a challenge and it is doable, but unless you talk from backward, ये जो मैं प्रोड्यूस करूंगा ये कहां बेचूंगा, उस मार्केट की क्या डिमांड है, उस मार्केट में कैसा प्रोडक्ट जाएगा, unless this information gap is bridged, it will be challenging.
Where our district 3190 is one of the district out of 540 districts in the world, never crossed even South India #1, but it has become world #1. That's again a lifetime experience. Anything can happen, anything we can achieve with simplicity, humbleness, and connecting with people.
We do not see construction as a polluting industry. We see automobile as a polluting industry, we see industries as a polluting industry, but we never talk about construction as an activity polluting more than these sectors.
All right. Thanks everybody for your patience, for um, watching the video and listening to most of the people who have contributed to the making of this particular book. After listening to them, I remember one Urdu sher, which is I think written by Majroor Sultanpuri and goes well with the life of an entrepreneur. कि मैं चलता रहा जानिबे मंजिल मगर मैं अकेला ही चलता गया जानिबे मंजिल मगर, which means towards the manzil. Log milte gaye aur karwan banta gaya, which means that I started on this journey alone, but people just joined me and I made it to my destination. So I think with that, we once again welcome all of you for your time and your interest for today's session, which is the launch session of the book Dhool Dhoop Dhakka. So this book particularly is an entrepreneur's journey. It has the key elements of entrepreneur's journey, which is dhool, which is symbolic of getting involved in indulgence and literally soiling your hands in all aspects of business. Dhoop represents the discipline of execution, hard work, resilience, and dhakka ultimately means the struggles one really manages, the perseverance and the persuasiveness to keep moving ahead. So that's how the metaphor for this title is. The book is a collection of inspiring stories from sectors like agriculture, FMCG, healthcare, housing, investment, banking, logistics, manufacturing, security services, startups, family businesses, and franchisees, including some niche companies with path-breaking technologies. It really serves as a reference for entrepreneurs, a guide for aspiring entrepreneurs, and most importantly, it's an inspiration for everyone who has an entrepreneurial mindset. That's what the authors believe. From an incense stick to high-end salons, from wood houses to laser-cut steel, from technological excellence of delivery through drones, and to high-tech farming, and from food materials to investment advisory. This book covers it all. And as Arun quotes, somewhere in the book where he says, survive, stabilize, secure, and rescale, particularly with the pandemic. And Deepak joins us in saying that fortune lies in the follow-up. So I think with that context, let's really, go ahead with the launch. I'm just going to quickly set the schedule for today. So we start with, by inviting our chief guest, Dr. Sudhakar, to come and unveil the book. And once he's done, we will also invite, our other two guest speakers, and followed by the people who've contributed to the making of this particular book. And subsequently, once everybody, who's available, who's written in the book today, once we're done with them, then we will also invite and request the people who have very kindly and nicely offered their thoughts through the foreword, because the book really opens with the verse number 47, chapter 2 of Bhagavad Gita, which says karmanye vadhikaraste ma phaleshu kadachana ma karma phala hetur bhurmate sangotsava akarman. And that particularly is really reflecting in the book, in what the people's thoughts are here. And we have these people who are celebrated authors, businessmen, life coaches and thought leaders, and also ambassadors who have given their thoughts as forward. So with that, may I please request Dr. Sudhakar, our chief guest for today, to unveil the book. And that would be symbolic of the fact that the book is officially launched. So maybe please have a round of applause for Mr. Dr. Sudhakar Rao. So we have Dr. Sudhakar, who is unveiling the book. And there the book goes. It will be great. It will be encouragement for the authors, particularly if we all have a huge round of applause. Thank you, Dr. Sudhakar. That's really the moment, for which 35 months of hard work has gone through. And the moment is, when we have our chief guest and guest of honors releasing the book. So with that, may I please request Dr. Sudhakar to share with everybody, some of your thoughts about what do you think about the book and some of your guidance to the entrepreneurs who are listening to us today.
Good evening to all. Firstly, I would like to thank the organizers of this event for giving me a wonderful opportunity to be part of this book launch this evening. I congratulate the authors, Shri Arun Lal and Shri Deepak Gadge, for coming up with this brilliant book of successful entrepreneurs. And Shri Kottige ji, Mr. Viiveck, Verma, who are the other dignitaries present in this occasion. So I must also appreciate the authors, Shri Arun and Deepak, for this very apt and catchy title, Dhool Dhoop Dhakka. This book, Dhool Dhoop Dhakka, throws light on the entrepreneur's journey. Dhool, I think it's getting involved, getting hands dirty, understanding competition, identifying the right opportunity. Dhoop is a discipline of execution, managing operations, implementation, knowing your investors, performance measurement, and execution. Dhakka, managing challenges, managing hard times, perseverance, motivate and lead the team, and get going. It reminds me of my mother tongue's proverb, Kai kesaradare, bai mosru, which means only when we get our hands dirty in hard work, while doing hard work, we can be sure and we can achieve the success. Entrepreneurship is not by accident or magic or luck. Entrepreneurship is always by design. It's balance between the emotional quotient and intelligence quotient. Entrepreneurs always see an opportunity in adversity. They should have the vision and imagination to believe it before one sees it. Patience and perseverance are the key for entrepreneurs. As Swami Vivekananda has said, each work has to pass through 3 stages. One is ridicule, second is opposition, and then acceptance. Let me quote famous scientist Sir Thomas Alva Edison, who said, "I have not failed, I have just found 10,000 ways that won't work." An entrepreneur needs to be an outstanding leader. He should be one who takes risks. It is not possible for any individual to be an entrepreneur without taking risks and coming out of the comfort zone. Those who think ahead of their time are sure to be misunderstood. Most of them would be familiar with this. The power to think differently and ahead of the times for the betterment of mankind is what sets entrepreneurs apart. I see about 800 million potential entrepreneurs who can work towards making the world a better place. India has witnessed many successful entrepreneurs today. We have a lot of talent, energy. This should be harnessed so that we become a nation of job creators than a nation of job seekers. Being the startup hub of India, Karnataka tops the startup winners list in the first edition of the National Startup Awards 2020. Prime Minister Narendra Modi has told, reform with intent, perform with integrity, transform with intensity. So reform with intent, perform with integrity, transform with intensity. that defines the modern India that our Honorable Prime Minister is envisioning. Today, India is ranked 63rd in the World Bank's ease of doing business, an improvement from its ranking of 134 before the Modi's government came to power in 2014. Karnataka, I really feel privileged that we have investments, that is, we have received investments worth almost 10,255 crores in the last 3 months amidst pandemic. So in line with Prime Minister Modi's vision of Atmanirbhar Bharat, the cluster will offer world-class infra for electronic goods manufacturing and create close to about 20,000 jobs. Our state also is the powerhouse of research and innovation. The COVID-19 should not be seen as a challenge, but as an opportunity. So ever since Shri Modi came to power, especially during his second term in May, around 27 lakh young entrepreneurs have been added into the economy. So as he always says, this decade will belong to Indian entrepreneurs. So we are just 7% of the planet's population. It is still not overcrowded and there is enough space for new entrants. I hope this book will motivate young aspirants to become successful entrepreneurs. A revolution needs to be started to understand and appreciate entrepreneurship and change the common public's thought patterns. So it's good to hear 4 out of 14 success stories mentioned in this book are from my state, Karnataka. I congratulate each one of the success stories which have made into this book. Let your story be an inspirational factor for other young aspiring entrepreneurs. Together we build strong society and resurgent India. Especially I should thank Dr. Shalini Nalwad, because of her whom I am participating in this program. Once again, I congratulate the authors for their brilliant work, and I wish that the inspiring stories in the book encourages and motivates more and more youngsters to become entrepreneurs. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Many thanks, Dr. Sudhakar, for those wonderful, inspiring, and insightful words. I think some amazing facts and data shared by you, and thank you so much. We were really overwhelmed with what you shared. And Dr. Nalwar, thank you so much for helping us to get the minister here today, and really appreciate your time. With that, we move to the second speaker of this evening, and may I invite Smita Purushotam to share her thoughts on how she sees this book and what's her point of view on the steps ahead. Ms. Purushotam is the founder and chairperson of SiTARA, which is an acronym for Science, Indigenous Technology and Advanced Research Accelerator. She has also been the former ambassador to Switzerland from India. So please join me in welcoming Ms. Purushotam for a few kind words here.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I'm truly honored to be participating in such an innovative venture. And I also really enjoyed your talk and also the Honorable Minister's talk. It was inspiring and very modern in its approach, which I really appreciated because having lived in countries where, Switzerland has been number one in innovation for the last how many years I've forgotten, but all these countries have very disruptive innovation ecosystems. And we need to think in a very modern way about creating a very innovative ecosystem. And so I'm very happy to be part of your wonderful enterprise. And I must say that when I read the synopsis for the book a few weeks ago, it stuck in my mind because it was very refreshing and uplifting, especially the doom and gloom that we are witnessing right now with the huge problem with the economy in the first quarter of this financial year. And the recovery has to be led by the people, the type of people who are mentioned in the book. And all the stories seemed very, very inspiring. So again, I want to thank you for involving in this. And I especially liked a few ideas that were expressed in the book, and that is the difference in approach to education systems, not just rote and the traditional type of learning, but something which leads a person to think for himself or herself and chart out a different path, as you said, as an employment creator, not a seeker. And then also breaking with the colonial heritage, in which we all were groomed to look for employment in the Macaulay-esque kind of a ecosystem. That also I liked. I also liked the slight dig at failed entrepreneurs like Vijay Mallya's, etc. The flamboyant types who did not believe in the three letters that you talked about. Passion, hunger, and discipline. Initially, when you mentioned PhD, I said, "Oh my God, this is the same old traditional way of looking at things." And then you explained it to me, and I liked it very much. I looked up your website, and really, it is a good play on the acronym, and very inventive also. So I don't know what else I can add to what you have, or what Shri Sudhakar and Honorable Minister and you have, the initial speaker, sorry, I didn't get your name, said. But these are the small takeaways. But again, you can be the foundation of the movement you're describing can be the foundation of creating a fresh innovation ecosystem in our country, because we desperately need that. India is one of the lowest R&D investors in the world. Our R&D intensity is in fact falling year by year. So we need very much young people to come up and restore that momentum. We never really had a very strong momentum, but way of thinking and new horizons, and especially the challenge that we face, with China. We need to improve our indigenous technological capability, and that is what SiTARA is all about. And I would like to work with you on this issue. So apart from looking at the motivational factors that inspire the entrepreneur, and the educational ecosystem, the parental sponsorship, etc., or lack of it, it's very important, and this is what SiTARA goes into, to look at the external environment. Because when Indians go abroad, I have got a report with me prepared by an American think tank. We are the ones who are designing the most advanced chips in the world. We are the biggest contributors to the scientific and engineering workforce of the United States. Our entrepreneurs prosper everywhere. I've seen the Indian diaspora doing better than all other sections of society. We need to create those conditions in our country so that people described in your book can prosper. So I don't want to go on. I would really like to hear from other people who, and have a debate, a discussion rather than my just lecturing. So thank you very much for this opportunity and for being for involving me in your wonderful venture. Thank you.
Thank you, Smita ji, for your very interesting view, and particularly, someone coming from a global outlook. I think that's quite an imperative for everybody to know. In fact, since you spoke about innovation, that's something very critical to today, because right from Make in India to Digital India, everything goes back and gets connected to innovation. In fact, I remember Elon Musk had said it somewhere that failure is an option here. If you're not taking risk, you're not innovating enough. Or in other words, he says that if you're not failing, then you're not innovating enough. So for people who have just joined us a couple of minutes ago, we are still very much in zeal and exuberance, going full throttle with the launch of the book, Dhool Dhoop Dhakka, Entrepreneurship by Design, written by Arun Lal and Deepak Ghadge. And then I move on to invite our second guest of honor and speaker, Mr. Naveen Kottige, who also is a wonderful entrepreneur. That's what I've been told Mr. Kottige, and I also know that you also wear another very incredibly impressive hat of the Secretary of the Karnataka BJP cell. So again, on behalf of everybody here, we welcome you and we are absolutely keen to hear you. Naveen ji, please.
Very good evening and namaste to all of you who are in this book launched by our Honorable Minister, Shri Sudhakar ji. Firstly, I would like to congratulate both Mr. Arunlal ji and Deepak Gadge ji for coming out with this wonderful innovative thinking of putting the new age entrepreneurs and also people who have been in business for more than 3-4 decades. Let me start by saying, I think it's written in the preface of the book, the very Indian mindset is nothing actually driven towards becoming an entrepreneur. If you have like 100 options put forward in a piece of paper to the parents, the one option they are going to tick out of all the 100, they're going to reject 99 and tick only one option, that is a job, salaried job, and if it's a government job, nothing more than that. If it's a bank job, insurance job, something which gives them salary, which secures their life. Maybe it's the kind of background they come from. Indians basically, if you go back historically and also genetically, have never been aggressive, never wanted to go out of that comfort zone. From the dates back into 11th century to 12th century, it's all about outsiders coming to India to do business. But Indians, though they had a very good business background, they tried to, confine themselves to a very limited activity. And also, if you look at it, there was this very strong culture that was built, which consists of all this Verma system, where the segregation of who is supposed to do teaching, who is supposed to do business, who is supposed to be a warrior, who is supposed to be a farmer. And then as things started moving further, as things started opening up, as economy started moving further, there are a lot of people who came into the mainstream of getting into business and entrepreneurship. But still there is this slightest of hesitancy of people not ready to accept failures. There is a very difficult thing in India is to accept a failure. People can't accept anything going wrong in whatever they start or whatever they want to do. If something goes wrong, they retract. Let me give you my own example. I come from a business family background. Though I had a family business, when I was in the age of 15, I started my own venture. And I could not actually get a license in my own name because I was not 18. So I had to take a trade license in my mother's name. And then the biggest opposition came from my father, because he didn't want me to go and do something else other than what we already had. He said, if you want to do something, come and do it in our business, don't go. And as a 10th standard kid who had just passed 9th grade and gotten into 10th grade, I started some trading activity and things like that in my mother's name. My father was putting restriction, saying that you are not supposed to sign, you're not supposed to sign a bank account. He has to come into business, which is our own business. He cannot do any other outside business. But then that did not stop me. I also met with failures, but in the way of going up to that place, whatever I did for the first 2-3 years, I met a lot of new and interesting people who are much, much older to me, who had experience in what they were doing. And that is where I started picking up quite a few things which I didn't really know at that point of time. And that is where I think in India, there's the book like Dhool Dhoop Dhakka makes a difference. The hand-holding, the success stories, how each entrepreneur goes through the journey, how each entrepreneur faces challenges, and how they come through it and they still become successful is something today you won't get anywhere. The people have to do it on their own, fail, again stand up, start doing something. So they have to keep reinventing the whole thing which is already available. But if you compare this to a Western world or a much more advanced economy, there's already a set pattern for people to actually adopt and do things which will help them. If you take the law, if you take the policies that is adopted by the European countries or the Japan or the US or these countries, the whole business is actually in a very set pattern. But whereas in India, the very fear factor is there from the day one because there's no hand holding. In fact, that is the one reason if people like Shri Arun Lalji and Deepak Gadgeji have put so many people to the forefront, if they have bought this many entrepreneurs, I think just by reading this book, I'm sure hundreds and thousands of more entrepreneurs will get the energy to come out and do a business on their own, and they want to be successful in what they do. And by taking a clue out of this book, I would say India needs strong emphasis on internships, which starts at a very young age, not when they become graduate, when they become postgraduate, that time they start thinking of what they should be doing. Internships of, how the practical businesses happen, how the practical entrepreneurships happen, has to start from the age of 13, 15, 16. By the time they are into the college, they already know basics of how an entrepreneur works. And also handholding, industry handholding is the most important thing, because today the failure and the success, there's a razor thin margin in it. If anything, any small mistake happens, the whole thing is going to go upside down. It doesn't give that. Business is so dynamic today. Anything, even the smallest of mistake, they have to restart from scratch. So that is the kind of business dynamics that we see today in the global market. So with hand-holding and internship, and a country like ours, which has got 1.3 billion population, it has got abundant opportunity for every business. All they need is A, passion, B, dedication, C, street smart common sense. If the entrepreneurs can adopt these three in that, while they start off a business, they need to be perseverant about trying to build a business properly and have a street smart common sense of how things needs to be done, what are they dealing with, and how then can be built the business. I think they are going to reach the glory. They are going to reach the peak of the pinnacle. I'm very glad this book is going to do wonders in coming years. And these 12 entrepreneurs, 14 entrepreneurs whose stories have been put together. Maybe if 10 years back or 15 years back, these books were available to me, probably I would have done things, much better way, taken a lot of clue out of these kind of books. But believe me, I started an e-commerce business way back in 2001 with the drugstore.com kind of a concept to selling drugs online. But unfortunately, the policy never allowed that time to sell drugs online. But we had to stop it. So there's quite a bit of maturity that has come in right now in what we are talking about 2000 when the e-commerce started to what we are today. Everything happens over e-commerce. And I'm really glad and I'm very thankful that I've been participant, as a chief guest. I've been invited, one of the chief guests for this book launch. And going forward, I wish loads of luck, and these companies, these businesses, these enterprises should grow even more bigger and even more better. And my sincere request to all these entrepreneurs, please handhold youngsters. They need your support. They need your guidance. These are not things that is available in the college. These are the things that's available only in the market. These are the things that can be taught by people to people. It cannot be taught by, classrooms. So please do that. And Arunlalji and Deepak Gadgeji, you also please, with the same effort, I think you should come out with the series 2 of this Dhool Dhoop Dhakka. India, I think, needs Dhakka the most. Dhool and Dhoop, they are ready to take it. But dhakka is the where they fail actually. Most of the people really need the dhakka. So if our government and our policy makers can really give the dhakka, the community, the society can give the dhakka to them. When people fail, they stand by them, they mentally calm them down and keep them happy so that you can again retry it. You're not going to fail. I think a lot of more entrepreneurs are going to be successful and do a lot good to the country in overall. Plus, as go vocal for local is the mantra for what the government is saying now. I think if we can adopt that go vocal for local, the local production is also going to go up. And India, in a very short span of time, is going to be #1 in the world in so many other aspects, in beating countries like China and US and all the Western European countries. Thank you so much, and thanks for having me. And I want to especially thank Dr. Shalini Nalwad, who happens to be my very good friend. And she is also a person who inspires me to do a lot of risk taking, because her job is to fly sickest patients. So I am inspired, and I'm glad that her company story is also here in this book. Congratulations to both Rahul and Dr. Shalini, and congratulations to all of you. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Mr. Kottige. Words of wisdom coming from a politician, from an entrepreneur. Definitely, I think goes back to the school times, that the mindset has to be developed at an early stage. And we should not really preach about securing comfort, because there's no growth if you look about comfort. With that, we move to our next speaker and guest of honor, Mr. Viiveck Verma, who's the founder and principal consultant of Upsurge Global. And also, it will be important to note that he's also the senior advisor at the Telangana State Innovation Cell. Mr. Verma, good evening and welcome to this evening. We would be absolutely delighted and thrilled to hear from you on the book and what your thoughts are on the entrepreneurial journey. Over to you, Mr. Verma.
Thank you very much, Rohan, for the kind words. And thank you to all of you, and specifically to Dr. Sudhakar, to Smita, to Mr. Kottige, and all the other people who have joined us, and also to Arun and Deepak for inviting me to something that I consider one of my pet topics, which is about entrepreneurship. And I think before getting to the book, it's kind of in my view, kind of connect that to only startups. And I just want to spend a couple of minutes to kind of help define what I see as the entrepreneurship or entrepreneur as a word. Startup is an output that sometimes comes out of entrepreneurship. But in my view, entrepreneurship is a mindset. It is a mindset which is about looking around, seeing the problems that exist around us, trying to find a solution to those problems, and then making those solutions scalable. And then comes the concept of making it profitable and sustainable, which is where the business happens. But innovation, in the fact that you find problems and you solve problems, are the key ingredients of an entrepreneur. And when we look at the definition in this perspective, suddenly the world of entrepreneur becomes much, much larger. And I'm very glad that these are some things that all of us will learn through the learnings of these 14 amazing stories which have been presented in this book. Because these are people who've gone and found problems, found solutions, made them scalable, and then converted them into a business going forward. But it's very, very important to look at doing this, because if the mindset can change, then I think the world is going to become a very, very different place. And that is when, as my other fellow speakers before me spoke about, that it's very important that we look at starting early. And I'm very glad that I'm associated as an investor, as an entrepreneur, as a mentor, and as someone who's trying to bring about a change with children right from school. I am a board member with TIE, which is the Indus Entrepreneurs, where our focus is on fostering entrepreneurship. And we start working with children in school to teach them the concepts of entrepreneurship, to teach them the basic ingredients of that. And I think the output is amazing. So I think it's very, very important. I just thought it's important for us to put that in perspective. A lot of us on the call today will understand and relate to what I'm talking about. Coming more specifically to this book, the Dhool, Dhoop and Dhakka, I think it's an extremely, extremely fantastic idea. The topic, the title, and the fact that they have picked these 14 stories to bring inspiration to all the other people, which is a combination of things coming from various sectors, as I see air ambulance, drone delivery, wooden housing, farming, agriculture. So it's giving a phenomenal diversity to the people and understanding the stories that are coming from there, and talking about scaling, which is very, very important. And I think we can learn from a lot of the scaling that these people have done. I think the book also covers an advisory on how to be ready for funding, and I think that is again something that we need to be aware of today. A lot of people think the only success for a startup is whether you've got funded or not. And I keep saying this all the time, that there is a difference between valuation and value creation. And I think that is something which as entrepreneurs, we all need to understand, that valuation cannot be our only aim in life. Value creation is what we should focus on. But having said that, we also need to get ready when we need to raise more capital and get more people involved. And I think book helps us to understand. And I think the authors are doing a wonderful job in inculcating the spirit of entrepreneurship between all of us. So I congratulate both Arun and Deepak for having taken this effort, bringing these amazing 14 stories and perspective on what can be the future and how people can learn about this. I wish them all the best. I wish that the book does phenomenally well and more people read it. And as Naveen already mentioned, that maybe the version 2 of the book should come, because there are so many more stories, I think, that are waiting to be presented. And I think all it needs is people like Deepak and Arun to come together, bring these stories, and let the rest of us in the world learn from that. So with that, I'd like to congratulate Arun and Deepak once again for bringing out this fantastic book, and wishing both of them all the best with the book, and wish all of you also fantastic success ahead. And as I mentioned before I leave, I'd only make one request from an entrepreneurship perspective. As I mentioned, I am part of the Indus Entrepreneurs, and as we speak, we are doing the world's largest entrepreneurship event, the Thai Global Summit, which is on till tomorrow night. If any of you are interested, please do visit. It's a free event with about 42,000 attendees attending the event from around the world. So if you are interested, please do visit tgs2020.org, register and join us with about 300 plus speakers. So thank you very much, Arun and Deepak. Wish you all the best, and congratulations on the book. Back to you, Rohan, and thank you very much.
Thank you, Viiveck. Really enriching
Thank you.
thoughts, and again, your experience in the kind of work you do, which is really commendable, and that I'm sure would be benefited by a number of people who are listening to us today. We see many more people have joined us again this evening. So for those who've just entered the window, we are here to launch, in fact, the book Dhool Dhoop Dhakka, Entrepreneurship by Design, has just been launched by Dr. Sudhakar, who's the Minister of Health and Medical Education, and supported by two more dignitaries, Mr. Naveen Kottige and Viiveck Verma. My name is Rohan Muktali. I'm an entrepreneur, and I run a HR advisory firm called Aditya's HR Advisory. I meet a lot of people, and sometimes it's a little awkward to see the program mind of 10 plus 2 plus 4 years of studies, and then securing a place in New York or in the Silicon Valley. But I think, reading books like what has been authored by Arun and Deepak, I think a lot of the mindset has, probably pegged to shift. And with that, I would really like to now invite, all those exemplaries and all the fabulous minds who have made it big in their industry, who have set an example, and who are pioneers, in the field they are. but more importantly, they have contributed to the book, and their stories, most of their stories are in fact larger than life, and that has helped the book to really see the sunlight. So we start with inviting, the pattern for this is, we would invite each one of, the heroes of the book, I would say this, who have contributed to the book and who are available today. They can speak in a minute or two about what, their journey has been and how do they really see this book, as a significant effort by our authors, for inspiring the budding entrepreneurs. People who wish to express their thoughts can still use the chat window. We are receiving a number of messages on the chat window, so thank you. With that, I request Mr. Sugumar from Anil Foods, who is listening to us. Mr. Sugumar, welcome to the session. Thank you for featuring, allowing us to feature, you on the book, and the mic is yours.
Nice, Rohan. It's what you are doing is a great job here for this book launch. I would like to congratulate Viiveck sir and Arun Lal sir for this wonderful book which you have given to the budding entrepreneurs. And myself, the first story is being ours. Is a great thing you have done to our company. This launch, we were eagerly waiting for this launch because it was so many times it was postponed, and now finally we have come to right time, and we have launched this book. And I would like to congratulate Viiveck and Arun Lal and all the other 13 co-entrepreneurs who are joined in this book for their wonderful job and their wonderful so thank you, sir, and thank you very much for this wonderful evening. Okay, this is my anything else I can answer.
Excellent. So thank you so much, Mr. Sugumar. Great story you have behind you, the way Anil Foods has really shaped up and, been one of, the preferred choice when it comes to typically the semia. I still cherish my memories of how I really encountered it for the first time. And today, I have the man in front of us. So thank you again for your words. With that, we move, to Sandeep Padoshi, if, he's there, Chief Culture Officer of Wow Express, if or Mazhar or Jayesh, either of the three most inspiring people who are if you're here, then please we would love to hear from you.
Right. So this is Sandeep.
Hi, Sandeep. Hi.
Hi.
So too many people. It's very difficult to, and the screens are shifting.
Right.
Technology. We're not used to this kind of life yet. So welcome again, Sandeep.
Thank you. You're doing a wonderful job, Rohan. Firstly, many congratulations to Deepak and Arun. We started talking to them, or rather, they started talking to us. I think almost nearly about a year and a half ago, and it's been a long journey. But they I think are the true reflection of Dhool Dhoop and Dhakka, and they have pursued it. And today we are seeing this. I'm really impressed with the launch. I think it's really wonderful and speaks a lot about the kind of support that you've got as authors. So many congratulations. And I'd also like to congratulate all the other entrepreneurs who've been featured in the book. Of course, from our standpoint, the journey has just begun, and there's still many miles to go, and many things to achieve, right? But way truly one has to have that discipline and that perseverance, and I would say the quality of not giving up no matter what, that will really, or that makes a great entrepreneur. So, many congratulations once again, Deepak and Arun, and wishing the book, great success. Let's hope, you sell, thousands and lakhs of copies. All the best. Thank you.
Thank you, Sandeep.
Many thanks, Sandeep, for again your inspiring words and encouraging statements, particularly for, I'm sure, his words have encouraged Arun and Deepak for you to think more. I somewhere think that both of you have already started thinking about the sequel of this book, because I have no doubt this book is going to be a hit. Because when I look at the book, I personally feel that it's just not a mere compilation of stories, but I think these are live example. It's like really doing, an express crash course of entrepreneurship in probably a matter of few hours. So I think I totally echo my thoughts with Sandeep. So thank you, Sandeep. Well done. With that, may I request Mayur Bua, Managing Director, Laser Cut Steelworks. His story also, features with pride in the book, and I'm sure if he's here with us this evening, he would be kind enough to share his experience.
Rohan, just to interrupt, Dr. Shalini has to leave. If
Okay.
you can just ask her to speak. So she has got a family event. She has to leave. So
Sure, no problem at all. Thanks, Deepak. So, Dr. Nalwar, welcome again and good evening. You have been exceptionally kind, through your network and references and the great work which you're doing. We had some of our chief guests today, so thank you for that, and we congratulate you for the work which you're doing, which is absolutely in the best interest of humanity, which is life-saving. So please go ahead. We would love to hear from you.
Thank you. Thanks a lot. Thanks for letting me go before all the others. And of course, I congratulate Mr. Arun Lal and Mr. Deepak Gadge for bringing this book forward. And it is not just going to inspire and bring other people to take up this entrepreneurship. I think it's going to make the people who are already into this entrepreneurial world to get more braver and also kind of barge ahead. As it was mentioned that it's not the valuation, it's the value we are bringing into the system. So on behalf of Rahul, my co-founder of ICAT, if I have to say, I think like we have been extremely fortunate to be led by people or mentored by people, because we are not entrepreneurs by blood, we are doctors. And especially coming from the British training background, we are very settled in our attitude towards everything. Like we didn't even have a business card for at least first couple of years, until people started saying like, guys, you need to have a business card. That settled we play and that modest we are when it comes to entrepreneur world. And if it was not for people who are leading us, like Mr. Naveen, who's here with us, or our parents who are like, standing at every step and giving us the boost to get ahead, go ahead, along with the books like this, which are in terms of like, of course, it is a business end of the day, but what we do is saving lives in a different manner, which has never been done in India before. And also will never be done the way we are planning in a lot of countries. Can't even imagine to do this, like making the service of airlifting people from trauma, and also people who require organs free of cost. So and I'm sure like with the books like this, we will get the much needed visibility, we get the much needed support from the system. And as Deepak was telling me, Rikushani, you have no idea like how many people will come forward now to help you out in your mission. And as we were saying in our interview, this is not about making money. This is about like bringing a change to future generations in the medical world, in creating a new sky, creating a new era of saving lives. So thank you so much for featuring us. Thank you so much for coming and participating, especially Honorable Minister Dr. Sudhakar, with just one text message, is always been so supportive. And I'm so happy also glad to say Karnataka being in the top in the startup world, we are also launching the free helicopter emergency medical service for the Karnataka state. Will be the first one to launch it very soon under the leadership of Dr. Sudhakar, and also support from people like Mr. Naveen Kottige. So I would take this opportunity again for all your blessings and encouragement, and thanks again to our parents and the families who have stood by us in this hard journey coming from a medical world to the entrepreneur world. Thank you so much. Thank you very much. All the best for this book as well.
Thank you. So that was Dr. Shalini Nalwar from ICATT, along with her colleague, Dr. Rahul Singh Sardar. Not to forget mentioning that even Mr. Sardar is equally contributing to this amazing mission. And I congratulate you, Dr. Rahul Singh, also for this wonderful work which you're doing. With that, let's try to move,
Can I just say a few words, because even I've got to go, if you don't mind, Rohan.
Of course, Rahul Singh, please.
Thank you very much, Rohan. And thanks, Deepak and Arun. Just wanted to share a few memories of working with Deepak. We met a few years ago, and Deepak was working on a different project, and he had long hair. And I asked him, Deepak, why are you having this long hair? He had a ponytail, and he said, I will cut my hair only once this project is, on its feet. So that was really impressive, and that kind of passion. And it was a pleasure working with him on that project. And we were a bunch of new entrepreneurs trying to make an orbit shifting kind of innovation, make a dent to the system. And it was fun. And it was a pleasure meeting Arun as well during the sessions. And I'm sorry, it was done in bits and pieces because we were running around a lot. And thank you, Naveen, the guest speaker, and for all your advice and guidance that we, very shamelessly and very often seek. So, as Naveen was saying, Dhool and Dhoop, we are all for it. But the dhakka which is very badly needed, comes to the lucky few. We find ourselves very lucky because we have people who can give us that dhakka of not actual material things, but of advice and and also scolding us when we do things, when we take some wrong steps. So buying books from airports and not reading them has become a habit, because and I keep storing them to read it in my retirement period. But this book I will read. It looks very exciting. So I've just got the copy of this book, and thanks, Deepak. And I'll order a few more for my family and friends. And I'm very keen to read the other stories in this book, and I'll be waiting for the sequel. Thanks a lot, and all the best.
Thanks, Dr. Rahul Singh Sardar. That was really encouraging.
Thanks, Rahul. I still have the ponytail. One milestone of the ponytail is completed. The other milestone is yet to happen. You know what it is, and I'm very near to that.
Good luck.
Yeah, thank you so much for your support.
Well, Deepak never shared this with me. I always thought the ponytail was the lockdown effect. So, thank you, Dr. Rahul Singh Sardar, for sharing Deepak's secret. I think it went beyond my imagination. So thank you again. Wonderful to hear you. We now move ahead. So I'm not sure if Mayur is here. Mayur Bua, who is the managing director of Laser Cut Steelworks, who has also featured in the book through his incredible work. But we can probably move to the next. How do I put it? Maybe let me use the expression to the one who's really again has been a game changer and therefore probably Arun and Deepak have both decided to include his story in this book. So I'm talking about Keller Rinaldo, who's the founder of Zipline, a company that absolutely, has done wonders from a technology perspective, and leading to ultimately making drones deliver emergency supplies, including medicine, to certain parts of Africa, Ghana, and Rwanda. Unfortunately, he was not able to be with us, but his colleague Justin from Zipline has sent a video message. So I request Sakshi, who's been kind enough this evening to help us with all the digital media, to play the video which Justin has shared. So that really compels me to say, Deepak and Arun, that Saat Samandar Par, your fame has reached, and this book is already a hit, I think. Sakshi, over to you, please.
Yeah, sure.
Deepak, this is Justin from Zipline. We just wanted to thank you so much for including us in the book and wanted to wish you great success on its publication. You've done some fantastic work and we've been honored to be a part of it. So again, best of luck to you and all of your endeavors, and here's to a successful book launch.
Great. Thank you so much for this, Sakshi. Well, that was Justin from Zipline with us with a video message congratulating and encouraging both Deepak and Arun. With that, I would like to invite Mr. Arjun Ranga, one of the icons of the book, and also who represents, the iconic, the cycle brand, and, of course, wearing many other hats. So, Mr. Arjun Ranga, if you are with us right now, because I think the number of participants have grown and some of the people have their phone model numbers, so it's a little difficult to understand, but I think, yes, Mr. Ranga, I can see you. Good evening and welcome to this session. Thank you for your time, and we really appreciate your patience. So over to you, please.
Namaste to everybody. Yeah, I'm the opposite of Deepak, I think. I just went to Tirupati 2 days ago, so you can see the effect of that. Blessed by Lord Venkateshwara. Deepak and I go back a long way, and I think it's inspirational to see what they've come up with, Arun and Deepak. When I was discussing with them, I had a lot of introspection as well, and learned a lot more about myself and the business, the type of questions they were asking. But fundamentally, I am far more blessed than most of the other entrepreneurs here, because I'm a third generation entrepreneur. The true entrepreneur in our family is my grandfather. He made all the sacrifices and the struggles, come from a very humble and a poor background in a village called Vatraipu in Madurai district in Tamil Nadu. He lost his father when he was just 8. A lot of sacrifices. He had to take care of his mother and his grandmother. Left town, was brave enough to leave his native town, go to Aurangabad, got a job there, skilled himself, then went to Coorg, was working in the cordite factory, got employed there as well. And then over a period of time, skilled himself. Around the time India got independence, he said, this is the time I got to do something on my own. Moved to Mysore and started our agarbatti business in 1948. Visionary, he said branding is going to be important. And he said, I need to create a symbol that anybody in the world will understand, immaterial of the language. And that's how he came up with the word cycle. A cycle is a cycle no matter where you go. And then the philosophy of life, the cycle of life continues with agarbatti, when there's a birth in the family or otherwise, when you're happy and when you're sad. And it connects you to the God and to the divine. And that's how the brand came about. And then built on distribution, the second generation of the family followed ethical business practices. None of them sat behind the cash. And that's how they started. I think you need to mute this gentleman. So that's how they started to grow the business in the second generation. And I joined the business after my MBA in the year 2000, just around the time India started to explode as well. Had the opportunity to work with the family, work with the professionals that were in the business, brought in an ERP system, brought in transparency within the business. Because the company was so ethical, scalability was never a concern for us. Right? And that's how we started to grow. We now have 2,000 company sales representatives across the reaching close to 5 lakh retail outlets. We're in the top 20 non-food FMCG companies in the country, diversified into a family business as well, with multiple interests from avionics to defense to agri, solar pumps to industrial IoT. So the group is also diversified. So fundamentally, I think what the lesson that we've learned in our family is to never fear failure. Always be ready to take a risk. And as an entrepreneur, I think our family has always given it everything from the get-go. One introspection that I had, I think, during COVID is something that I want to share with all the other entrepreneurs is that, with all the extraneous circumstances and the market and the competition, I was thinking to external, pre-COVID. But during COVID, fundamentally, I was worried about our survival, my company, my team, my core competence. All right. And that's when I think we blossomed, during COVID. We came out stronger as an organization. We became more strategic. We started to do things more tactically and we got a lot nimble as well. And I think that's the true spirit of an entrepreneur. If you go back and see a startup entrepreneur, that's what they do is they fight for their survival. And as a big company, I think we had lost that. And during COVID, I think that's been a lesson for us is to become nimble and to, fight for your survival day in and day out. And overall, this book is going to be fantastic for everybody. I'm greatly looking forward to read it. I'm going to share it with all my friends and family as well. And I'm going to make it part of, the syllabi for our incoming inductees into the organization as well. So wish you, Arun and Deepak, the very best of luck. I'm sure this is just the start of many more wonderful things you guys are going to do. And here, in any which way that you need. And, I'm here, homegrown business in Mysore in Karnataka, employing thousands of people, supporting lakhs of families. And I'm glad that you're doing this and communicating Indian entrepreneurship to the world. I wish you both the very best of luck.
Thanks, Arjun. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Arjun.
I need to be excused if it's okay. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for your words. And as most of us have grown up with the fragrance of cycle agarbattis, but we had the man himself from the family and now diversified into a huge group, which is again very strong and firm post the pandemic as well. With that, now we would like to invite either Mrs. Veena Kumarwell or C.K. Kumarwell, the founders and co-founders of Natural Salon. If both of you are listening to us this evening, or either of you who's available today, we would love to hear from you, as you are also one of the icons who feature in the book Dhool Dhoop Dhakka, Entrepreneurship by Design. Deepak, do we have anybody?
Yeah. Mr. Kumarwell is there. CKK sir is there. He's just he's there. Sir, please carry on.
Good evening, Mr. Kumarwell. The platform is yours. Please go ahead.
I think he's on mute. I think.
No, he is on his phone. He is just adjusting that, I think. Yeah, CKK sir, you may start. We are not able to
hear him.
Yeah.
So shall we move to the?
Yes.
Okay, no worries. We'll get back again to Mr. Kumarwell. Would we have Mr. Mahindran, from Global Consumer Products?
Mr.
Mahindran is joined. So
I'd love to hear from him.
Yes.
The brain and mind behind the Good Night. The iconic brand, and much more to his credit. No worries. I think people who are listening to us this evening and who've joined us, and for whatever reason, if we are not able to hear, the icons who are featured in the group, I think the best thing to know them and to learn about their journeys and their successes is just to pick up the copy of the book and read the book. I think that's how you would get a chance to peep into their life and then get inspired. With that, we can move to Mr. KP Nagesh, Managing Director of the Unique Securities and Detective Services, if he's with us and listening to us this evening.
Nagesh sir had joined. I'm not sure whether he's.
Yeah, I saw him as well, but I don't think he's really connected.
You can try CKK sir again. See if he's available. If we can hear him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, Mr. Kumarwell. Can you hear us? We all are very keen to hear from you. No luck. No problem. I think, can then proceed to Anurag Khandelwal, the founder of Wood Style. He's here. I think I can see him.
Yes.
Anurag, welcome to this session and thank you for your patience. Would be really lovely for us to hear from the woodman himself and what really inspired you, to do your business, and then what do you think about the book and the authors of the book? Over to you, Mr.
Thank you, Rohanji. Thank you so much for giving me this opportunity to speak in front of such dignitaries and dignified people. Thank you so much, Arun Lalji. Thank you so much, Deepak ji, for honoring me to be part of this journey of Dhool Dhoop and Dhakka. Arunji has been knowing me for more than a decade. We've been associated on various platforms of project management, and that's how he has known me personally for a long time, and he has seen my journey from the very start of this wood style to where I am today. So thank you so much, Arun Lalji, for giving me this opportunity. And I really want to congratulate you and Deepak ji for this successful journey of bringing this book to the level of launching today and starting off this mission of Dhool Dhoop and Dhakka. And definitely, I'm sure with the kind of conviction, with the kind of commitment, with the kind of passion and compassion that you both project with this kind of a project, I think this is going to go to the next level very soon in the country, inspiring a lot of entrepreneurs along the way, along this journey. So I would like to really congratulate and thank you for giving me this honor to be part of this venture, and this is giving me an opportunity and a platform to scale us up to the next level in this wood style business. Thank you so much, Arun Lalji. Thank you so much, Deepak. Thank you.
Thanks, Anurag.
Thank you.
So CKK sir will join us in 10 minutes. He is probably reaching home. We should be able to hear him back. Rohan, over to you.
No problem. We will wait to hear from him again. We are quite eager. Meanwhile, Anurag ji, thank you so much.
I would like to add here, I have Anila Rampuria ji here. She has been my mentor in this journey of wood style, and she would like to say a few words. Thank you.
Sure.
Yes,
Anila, you're most welcome.
Thank you so much, Anurag. And it's a great day seeing so many entrepreneurs and, a wonderful day of this beautiful book launch. And the name is so wonderful, The name in itself, it just, I just feel like anybody would feel like just going through the book, and the book cover is beautiful. So congratulations, wonderful day. And we are very happy and exhiberated and elated that entrepreneurship is being celebrated at such a beautiful level. And congratulations, everyone. And personally, I would recommend a lot of people to read this book, to get a copy of this book. Thank you so much. And if you can just tell us where this book will be available, so that will be great. Thank you.
Thank you. It will be launched on Amazon tomorrow.
Great.
Noon, it will be available.
Yeah. And I would add that we have our website, dhooldoopdhakka.com, and I would encourage everyone to visit the website. You will get much more information. So it is a companion website to the book. You will find a lot of useful information, which we will keep updating on a regular basis. So I invite everyone to visit dhooldoopdhakka.com.
Yes.
In fact,
I would just like to add here, a lot of hard work about Arunji and Deepak ji have been doing, because I'm associated with Anurag and he has been telling me. So a lot of hard work has gone into it. And especially I really liked, the way you were inquiring about even the inspiration, the childhood, So it's not only the journey, entrepreneurship journey, you have actually gone way back to unearth where that inspiration of entrepreneurship has come out, So thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks, Anil.
Thank you so much, Ms. Rampuria, for joining us and sharing your thoughts. I'm sure the authors would be further inspired and overwhelmed with your thoughts. Well, as you know, they say that this book is actually an inspiration for everybody with an entrepreneurial mindset. So all of you who are listening to us today would, we would be appealing you that you can actually be ambassadors of the book and promote this book within your network and help us make this book reach. I mean, I'm not really touching about, the return on investment and the commercial part of it. But, where I come from is, as an entrepreneur myself, that the journey, the word entrepreneurship has, in most of the Indian, particularly when I look at the middle class families, that's not something for me. I'm just, programmed and designed to do a job. But, the more and more people, think like Arun and Deepak, and more people read what they have written and get inspired, I think India is going to see more and more entrepreneurs. So I think it's extremely important. So today is the first step of launching the book and making it available to readers. And tomorrow, once it goes online, I think. But the next step is more crucial, and we all will again support Deepak and Arun to market this book, is to make it reach to maximum people possible. Be it budding entrepreneurs, people particularly in the MBA, in the management, stage of their education. I think that's where really this would add value. So something for Deepak and Arun, for you to think about. We can now move to Nimish Soni, the Chief Operating Officer of Eton Solutions. Yes. Nimish, if you are hearing me, welcome. And we would really be excited to hear about you, because I read the book and I personally, I actually have been connected to some of your organizations in Bengaluru, which you've mentioned. So I never thought that it will be my honor and privilege to host you someday. So Nimish, over to you.
Okay, hey, thank you. Pleasure to be here, and congratulations to Deepak and Arun. I am sure you experienced your own share of Dhool Dhoop and Dhakka, creating this, coming to this stage of the, launching the book. I'm sure, but of course, Deepak mentioned there's another phase to this, which is, getting the book out to the masses. So, that's the second part of their journey. Good luck to them in this journey, and I'm just hoping that a lot of our youngsters in universities can get access to these stories, and that'll inspire them. I was in a couple of panels in Bangalore where there was a contest at the university level, and these youngsters were coming up with business plans and ideas for new ventures, etc. And a book like this with so many successful stories would help them. So I don't have anything else to add. I'm just amazed and impressed with what Deepak and Arun have created here with this launch of this book. So congratulations again, and good luck, with the next phase of this venture.
Thank you, Nimish. Thank you.
Thank you, Nimish. Really nice of you to share your thoughts. I would like to next, invite Mr. Vikas Nalavde. Vikas ji, अगर आप हमें सुन रहे हैं तो would you please unmute yourself and come online?
Yeah, Vikas is there. Vikas ji, आप unmute कीजिए ना.
विकास जी, क्या आप हमें सुन रहे हैं?
Yeah.
हेलो
विकास जी,
हाँ बोलिए सर.
गुड इवनिंग.
हाँ सर. यस सर.
स्वागत करता हूँ इस मीटिंग में. थैंक यू सो मच फॉर जॉइनिंग अस. You represent one of the most important aspects of economy, which is the agriculture. और हमें बहुत दिलचस्पी होगी आपको सुनने में कि कैसा रहा आपका सफर, और आप धूल धूप धक्का, इससे आप खुद को कैसे जोड़ते हैं, और क्या लगता है आपको दीपक जी और अरुण जी के सफर के बारे में?
अरुण जी और दीपक जी ने बहुत परिश्रम लेके ये काम किया है. मुझे भी अंदाजा नहीं था कि उन्होंने, मतलब मैंने देखा है उनको कितना फॉलोअप, और कितना मैंने तो सबसे ज्यादा सताया उनको कि टाइम पे नहीं काम, मतलब रिस्पांस नहीं, टाइम पे फोन नहीं, रिसीव हुआ, तो उनका हार्ड वर्क है इसमें। और मेरे बारे में कुछ बताना है?
हाँ, बता आप 1 मिनट, 1.5-2 मिनट में बता सकते हैं सबको कि एग्रीकल्चर या जो आप किसान हो, तो एग्रीकल्चर में जिस तरीके से आपने टेक्नोलॉजी का यूज करके जिस तरीके से एक मकाम पे पहुंचे हो आप, तो यंग जो एंटरप्रेन्योर्स है, जो व्यावसायिक है, जो आपसे थोड़ी सी इंस्पिरेशन ले सकते हैं, तो क्या कैसे देखा जाए, कितनी अपॉर्चुनिटीज है कृषि क्षेत्र में, और क्या हर कोई विकास खलवड़े बन सकता है क्या?
सर, हमारे सेक्टर में, मतलब एग्रीकल्चर सेक्टर में, हम सब लोग बोलते हैं ये समंदर है और यहाँ जितना करेंगे उतना कम है। इतना बहुत बड़ी अपॉर्चुनिटी है कि मेरे जैसे लाखों लोग इसमें आ गए बिजनेस में, तो भी बिजनेस मतलब बहुत अपॉर्चुनिटी है।
अच्छा जी।
हेलो।
और अगर मैं आपसे पूछूं कि एक ऐसा कौन सा एक संदेश आप देना चाहते हो सबको, कि अगर वो संदेश जो आपका है, वो फॉर्मूला अगर हम करें फॉलो, तो हमें आगे बढ़ने का पूरा मौका मिल सकता है आपके क्षेत्र में, कृषि क्षेत्र में?
एग्रीकल्चर में सर, स्पेशली वेजिटेबल क्रॉप में क्या होता है कि वेजिटेबल हो, ग्रेप्स हो, उसमें रिस्क है, लेकिन फाइनेंशियल प्लानिंग करके रिस्क लिया और रिस्क कवर करने के लिए बैकअप प्लान हमारे पास रही और उतना मैनेजमेंट और नॉलेज रहा, तो हम बहुत कुछ इसमें हासिल कर सकते हैं।
एक्सीलेंट, बहुत धन्यवाद। बहुत खूबसूरत जवाब दिया आपने। हमें यकीन है कि बहुत सारे लोग आपको फॉलो करेंगे और एग्रीकल्चर में भी, बिकॉज हमें लोग चाहिए जो कृषि क्षेत्र में आए और नई टेक्नोलॉजी के साथ एक अलग सा मकाम हासिल करे। तो बहुत शुक्रिया विकास जी, आप आए, आपने सुना हमें, और काबिले तारीफ आपका काम है। वी सल्यूट योर वर्क, सो थैंक यू।
थैंक यू सर, थैंक यू वेरी मच।
यहाँ पर मैं विकास जी के लिए कुछ ऐड करना चाहता हूँ। विकास जी से हमने इतना सारा डिस्कशन किया, तो मेन पॉइंट जो हमने देखा कि विकास जी ने शिक्षा को बहुत महत्व दिया। उन्होंने पहले तो कम किया, पढ़ाई किया था, लेकिन फिर उन्होंने लेक्चर्स, सेमिनार्स, यूट्यूब, बुक्स, अपने भी पढ़ा, अपने स्टाफ को भी पढ़ाया, अपने स्टाफ को लीडरशिप प्रोग्राम्स के लिए नॉमिनेट किया। और जितने मैनेजमेंट कॉन्सेप्ट्स है वो कंसल्टेंट्स को रखते हैं, उसको अडॉप्ट करते हैं और इम्प्लीमेंट करते हैं। सो ये बहुत ही सराहनीय काम हो रहा है, प्रशंसनीय काम हो रहा है। थैंक यू विकास जी।
और विकास जी सीखने के लिए सांगली से मुंबई आते हैं, रोहन। So all the leadership coaches who run the programs on sales, organization and motivation and all the marketing stuff, Vikas ji travels from Sangli, wherever he is in Maharashtra, to Mumbai to learn under the able leaders and coaches in Mumbai. So that is something which is very, very inspirational for all of us.
विकास जी, बहुत बहुत ही अच्छा लगा आपको सुन के। आपको और भी हैरत होगी सुन के कि मेरा सांगली से बहुत गहरा रिश्ता है। मेरी पैदाइश सांगली से है, मैं खुद सांगली का हूं, तो कभी मौका मिला तो मैं आपसे जरूर मिलूंगा, बहुत कुछ सीख सकता हूं। मैंने भी रिटायरमेंट के बाद पहले खेती सोची थी, लेकिन अब लगता है कि आई शुड नॉट वेट, रिटायरमेंट तक का इंतजार करना नहीं है। आपकी मैरीगोल्ड के जो एक्सपेरिमेंट्स है गेंदे के फूलों के, वो सबको पता है, एंड जो हमें सुन रहे हैं आज, पीपल आर लिसनिंग टू अस, these experiments with the marigold flowers have been acclaimed worldwide. So we really have an extremely immaculate work which has been done by Vikas ji, and also most importantly the accolades he has got. Vikas ji, बहुत शुक्रिया, बहुत अच्छा लगा आपको सुन के। अपन भेटू लवकरच।
हाँ, आपको मिलने के लिए बहुत मुझे भी अच्छा लगेगा, और भेटू लवकरच सर। थैंक यू वेरी मच।
थैंक यू। Good night. So thank you so much. With that, Arun and Deepak, can we move to next icon?
Yes.
Who's also been my friend and fellow British Business Group member Ashutosh Ghanikar. Ashutosh Ghanikar, who's also the founder and CEO of AMG Capital. Ashutosh, if you are listening to us and you're still online, would you mind coming online, unmuting yourself and sharing your thoughts?
I think he just dropped off, I think.
Yeah, I did see him till just about 5 minutes.
Yeah, I had seen him. But anyway, let us move to the next.
Let's see, Mr. Kumarvel is there, or we can move to Dr. Mishra.
Yeah.
Well, I think let's invite Dr. Mishra, who's founder of the HF service and who's the agricultural scientist. Let's hear from him, and then we can probably see if Ashutosh comes back. Dr. Mishra, welcome and good evening. Thank you so much for joining us this evening, and we appreciate your interest and congratulate you on being one of the icons of the book. Over to you, sir.
Thank you. Good evening, all of you, and a special thanks to Rohan for conducting this session very nicely.
Thank you.
Congratulations to Arun Lalji and Deepak ji for bringing this book, and special thanks at the same time that I have received this copy of this book just this afternoon. So special thanks to both of you.
Thanks, sir.
Now, about the contents of the book, it is up to the readers, including me. Well, whenever we read, we will talk about that contents. But entrepreneurship in itself is a journey. So I would like to speak something about my journey as a co-author or say a contributor with the authors. My relationship with Arunji goes back to nearly 12 years back, I think. I remember one fine afternoon, nearly 2 years back, he called me and asked that, Dr. we are looking forward to write a book, and I expect you to contribute a chapter on agriculture. It is nearly 2 years back. Okay, I said, yes, okay, fine. Whenever it comes, I will see. But I was surprised that an engineer working on management consultancy is talking about agricultural chapter. Okay. So then again in July this year, I got a call from him that we are ready for that book and we expect your chapter. So I said, let me know what is to be done by me. And I'm really surprised that the extent and the depth they have gone into, both Deepak ji and Arun Lalji, that it has been really very learning for me. On many aspects, I no doubt I am working on agriculture, I have throughout been involved in agriculture, but there has been so many instances where I could learn more from the diggings, from the questions they have put to me. So that way it has been a wonderful journey. I am sure this book is going to be inspiring to all the emerging entrepreneurs, guidance for all those who wish to read this book. And the scope of this book is huge. So all the budding entrepreneurs and all policymakers and everybody who reads that must find something good to explore for the things, because they will find different terminologies, different things. So I'm sure they will go to explore the things on Google and also in the library. At the time when this book is being launched and the journey when it was conceived till this point, it has been very hard for both the authors. And I also remember in July when I discussed when do you plan to launch this book, they said that it will be in August, because both of them has the birth month in the August. But yes, I think from August to December it has been very hard, and they were working very hard. So the journey continues, and I think the further success will depend upon as the website that is dhooldoopdhakka.com serves as a platform for all the entrepreneurs who wish to revert to them and for further queries and all. And for all those things, we are ready to support this mission to the extent they would like to utilize our services, to the extent we will be able to contribute the things. And with these words, I wish all the great success to both the authors, to all the contributors of this book, and all the budding entrepreneurs. A great success. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Gupta. Really appreciate your thoughts and your sincere views on an entrepreneur's journey and also about the book. Though you got a short time to read, but we still appreciate that you took time to go through the book. I think we have CKK, who's fondly known as CKK, but to kind of formally introduce him, Mr. C.K. Kumarwell, the co-founder of the iconic and celebrated Natural Salon. He's with us this evening. Mr. Kumarwell, good evening and welcome to the session. We are absolutely eager to hear from you. Over to you, sir.
Thank you so much for that wonderful opportunity. First, my hearty congratulations to Deepak and Arun for bringing out this wonderful book and showcasing the talents, that struggles and the journey of the entrepreneurs, which will serve as a great inspiration for a lot of fellow entrepreneurs and also the wannabe entrepreneurs. I believe that entrepreneurs are the new age freedom fighters who will pull India from the shackles of poverty. Entrepreneurs are the new age freedom fighters who will pull India from the shackles of poverty. There are 4 Indias. The first India is what I call the power India, where the government, the bureaucrats, the middlemen, all those people are there. Their name will change and the game will continue. And that's what is the power India all about. The second India is what I call the poor India. More than 50% of our Mere Bharat Mahan are living in a subhuman condition. They don't even have the basics. They don't even have basic education. They don't have basic health care. They don't have basic shelter. Most of them don't even have toilets. But the power India and the poor India are in the nexus. The power India wants to keep the poor India poor. And the poor India wants some waivers and some handouts and some occasional freebies. And that's what the things. What actually the power India requires is education and job creation. But that the poor India, what actually requires is education and job creation. But somehow that is been not available to them. Which brings me to the third India, what I call the new rising middle class, where most of us belong to. Our parents may not have led a great life, but because of the technology changes and also globalization, suddenly our lifestyles have changed. Air travel, 5-star hotels, international holidays, and BMWs and Mercedes-Benz have become a part and parcel of our life. But we are myself generation. So we want to, first time we are seeing some riches and we are seeing some, the lifestyle. So we are still yet to come out of that. However, we all want to contribute to the country, to the growth. We don't know how to do about it. And that's where the third India, the new rising middle class is there, which brings me to the fourth India. The fourth India is what I call the entrepreneur India. Entrepreneurship is using minimum resource and achieving big dreams. All the entrepreneurs whom we have seen here have not started off with great money and great infrastructure and great facilities. They, with the passion and the opportunity available, they converted and they used their brains and then put in additional energy and passion and converted an opportunity into a reality and built a great business out of it. And that's what is entrepreneurs out of it. In the process of doing that, they also create jobs. And that is what the poor India requires. That is why I say the fourth India will join the third India and come to the first India to give solution to the poor India. And that's my take on what the entrepreneur should be doing. Yes, making money, doing very good business and creating jobs is a very, very good start point. But after that, the entrepreneur should look beyond myself, and look at what I can do, contribute to this country to make the India great again. There is no point. Money can do little things to you, but it can do many things through you. Money can get you a car. Money can get you a good biryani. Money can get you a good house. But there is no point in you can't drive 10 cars at a time. You can't sleep in 20 beds and you can't eat 30 biryanis. Money has got limited values, but money can do great things through you. Through you, you can build a hospital, you can build a educational institution, and you can build a company and you can create lot of jobs. And that is the use of money, and that is what the money should be used for. There is no point in going to an Apollo hospital in a Mercedes Benz. I will gladly trade all my amenities for 2 more years of healthy life. What am I? The role of a good citizen is to give the next generation in a better way than what they have originally found. And that's what the entrepreneur should strive for. They should, from a good people, we should become a good citizen and hand over to the next generation a beautiful India and a safe India. And that's what is my wish and my this thing all about. Together, let us build a beautiful India. My special thanks to Mahendran sir for connecting me with Deepak and Arun, so that my story is also featured in that. That is, my story is not my story alone. It is a story of me and my wife Veena's story in the natural salon. I'm also very happy to listen to Cycle Brand, one of my favorite entrepreneur, and my own friend Anil Semia Sugumar is also there. Quite a few wonderful entrepreneurs are showcased in this book. I am sure it will be an inspiration for all the people, entrepreneurs and wannabe entrepreneurs. I will tell my own circle. I will surely sign it. I only wish Deepak to sign, Arun to sign 50 books and send it to me, so that I will buy it and give it to all my people. And that's my wish. And more to come. Together, let us build a beautiful India. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you so much, sir.
Excellent, Kumarvel, sir. Thank you so much for those absolutely honest views and thoughts. And I'm not surprised that they are coming from you, a man of principles and absolutely, impeccable quality standards. We really appreciate it. I think reflecting on your points, I quote Sadhguru Jaggi Vasudev. He says that the profoundness of your life depends upon, how are you able to touch another life? Because if you only make money and you carry on, move to the next destination, maybe you can keep yourself and your family. But if you want to touch another life and the impact has to be large enough, then I think giving it back to the society. And we have this jargon called corporate social responsibility. Government has made a law, but I think that really has to come from within. And I'm absolutely thrilled to hear you that you believe in what you're saying. And Deepak and Arun, I certainly again congratulate you for featuring Kumarvel sir in this book. I think absolutely befitting icon to be in this book. So thank you so much, sir, for your words again.
We personally thank Mr. Kumarvel, and Mr. Mahendran, like Mr. Kumarvel said, he referred us, and it's been really inspiring journey. When we spoke to him, I think a lot of goosebumps were happening for us. The dialogue delivery is something exceptional. Like I call Mr. CKK, he's the Rajnikant of the corporate world. Thank you so much for those punchlines, sir.
Thank you. My pleasure.
Thank you. Would be honored to meet you, sir, someday over a cup of coffee. I think there's lots to.
Yeah, definitely. I think.
Yes, I think it being COVID, I'm
we
sure
should,
would have been.
Yeah, soon we should have a physical launch of meeting all the entrepreneurs together.
Yes.
I think that's when you hit that the 1 lakh mark, that should be a celebration. Should be called for that.
Yeah, we're planning for once the COVID is clear. Mumbai and Bangalore are two events where we should host. Let's see. Hopefully, Jan-Feb we should host something there.
I will host one in Chennai. Chennai is on me.
Okay, thank you so much.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for that.
Thank you so much, sir.
Great. So we now move to people who have very kindly and graciously given their thoughts through the foreword. So I am thinking of Dr. Radhakrishna Pillai, the author of the very illustrious book called The Corporate Chanakya. I am, however, not able to see him. I did see him some time back, but is he still? Are you still with us, Dr. Pillai?
Not able to see.
I think he's dropped. I think.
Yeah.
So we can ask Mazhar and Jayesh to speak a few words. They're still there. They represent Wow Express.
Of course, yeah, yeah. So, Mazhar and Jayesh, thank you for staying back, and really, we appreciate your time. Over to you. We would love to hear more about the WOW experience, and maybe some words of guidance to all of us. Jayesh and Mazhar.
Hi, Jayesh, would you want to start or should I?
See, you
Okay.
already gone live, yeah.
Many congratulations, Deepak and Arun. It's really, I've read not full book, but some part of it, and I've gone through the journeys of some of the other entrepreneurs. And of course, for us, it was very difficult to start Wow Express. It took us a lot of years, because we were working in a very cushy job, and to move away from that comfort zone and then start something of your own, was a very difficult task. But once you start doing it, then there's no stopping it. So this book, I'm sure, will be a great inspiration for many people, who would want to, start something of their own, and come, the age is not a barrier at all here. So it can be a youngster who's just graduated, and to a person who's retired, So for us also, it was the same thing, because we were in the middle of this, very nearing to, not nearing, but I would say, somewhere close to our retirement age. But we took this plunge, and as Sandeep said, for us, it's still a long way to go ahead. So I'm really, I would request Arun and Deepak that do not stop here. There are many stories such, you will find, and that needs to be published and reach out across to many people in India, because such stories really inspires many people to go ahead and start something of their own here. Congratulations and all the best, Deepak and Arun, and Rohan, to you as well, for being a great host.
Thank you, Mazhar. Really nice of you to have spent some moments to inspire us, and also expressing your sincere thoughts about the book and the journey of Arun and Deepak. So I think with that, we are almost heading towards the conclusion of this ceremony, and I would now like to invite both Arun and Deepak, just to quickly talk about both of them, for people particularly who've not had a chance to look at their profiles. But Arun Lal has diversified experience in managing projects, leading teams, coaching, consulting, mentoring. I think his professional experience range is really vast, from manufacturing to retail, telecom, and IT. And particularly what thrilled me about knowing him when I got to know him through Deepak is that he's trained more than 15,000 participants, which means that he has created 15,000 possibilities in India. And I'm sure many of them already have the bent of an entrepreneur. He's also the winner of an international project management poetry contest, which was one more reason that I was quite excited to connect with him. And Arun, we should someday, exchange some of our poetic thoughts. And Deepak, who's the other author of the book and the energy behind the compilation of these inspiring stories, also, has been a friend and a fellow member of some of the business groups that I have been part of for the last many years. Personally, I know him absolutely entrepreneurial, nice human being, and somebody who would constantly look at creating something. He is a professional who's worked in top multinational companies in sectors such as banking, financial services, insurance, and actually has served at very senior level positions for strategy. And I think he also holds an executive MBA from IIM Calcutta. So Deepak, I know you're also a passionate coach, and that's where we started talking more about this book. And once again, I congratulate you and Arun hugely for taking this big risk, for opening up the plane when you jumped off the cliff, if I have to speak in the language of Reid Hoffman. And once again, congratulations on Dhool Dhoop Dhakka, Entrepreneurship by Design. Over to you. I would request you to share, your experience about this journey. What's the message you would like to give people, and also what really inspired you? And then you can also conclude the session with your word of thanks and closing remarks. Thank you.
Yeah, I will ask Arun to start. I think Arun has been my mentor as well. So I learned the project management from him. So like Anurag and Dr. Mishra were his students. I was also a student of Arunji in 2004. And from there, I think we stayed connected. And today, I think the universe connected us in 2004, probably for this creation. And in a city like Trivandrum, it's almost the tip of India. We got connected. I think that is all just destiny. Arunji, over to you.
Thank you, Deepak. Thank you very much. Also, thank you, Rohan, for this excellent moderation. I thank everyone present here, everyone who has been a part of the book. This journey has been really very exciting. And I would say, we were being mentored, Deepak and I both, in a Think and Grow Rich Academy. And that is where Deepak shared that idea that let us write a book. And that really started on 15th of August last year, that is 2019, when we went to attend an event and we saw a book launch. Deepak said, we should write our book. And that is where the journey started. Initially, it was like we were thinking what to name the book. But after several discussions and brainstorming, Deepak came up with that idea of Dhool Dhoop Dhakka, and that really caught. It was so exciting. Whoever we mentioned this book name, they got excited. And this journey has been an entrepreneurship journey for both of us. Like, what does an entrepreneur do? He designs his business. He designs. So we had to do the design, although we did not know anything about what to put, where to put, but we anyway moved ahead. There were a lot of deviations, but we were guided back on track. We had the faith. There were a lot of things, like, for example, the COVID. It actually put us away from the path. But then again, with perseverance, we came back, and here we are today. See, we were talking about, Dr. Mishra said that everyone should connect on Dhool Dhoop Dhakka. And in fact, that is our objective, that it's an ecosystem created where everyone can come, and we want to create many entrepreneurs. Okay. Something that you will find written in the book, and I want to mention that a wise man does not need to burn his finger to know that it hurts. He can very easily know from the experience of others. And that is what we have done in this book. What we have done is we have captured the learnings of successful entrepreneurs, and I'm thankful to them that they have shared so openly. And those learnings are so valuable that we can avoid the mistakes that they have already experienced. So it's a guide. If you look at the book, at the on the back cover, you see that this book is for everyone. We want to inculcate that entrepreneurial mindset in everyone. Okay. And in fact, when working, we found several, Deepak and I, we had to keep motivating each other and move ahead. So I would invite everyone to inculcate that mindset of entrepreneurship in everyone you come across. And that will be the true achievement of the objectives with which we started the book. Yeah, thank you very much. Deepak.
Thanks, Rohan, for hosting the show. And I think it was a short notice, and you also jumped on with such a short notice. And for us, I think we got a lot of support, like friends, family, and whomever we connected, we asked for help. I think all of them supported. There are many people like Teja also on the show who's helped us a lot in during this preparation, whole process of preparation. And our publishers themselves have supported us a lot. So we were first time authors. We did not know the whole process of publication or authoring, and wherever we got stuck, I think they released, they gave us clarity from that confusion. Yes, the book itself, the title, so it came from a class where I was sitting and learning entrepreneurship development program. My facilitator told these three words: "Dhool Dhoop Dhakka." uh, Whatever I teach you here is not enough unless you go and struggle in the market. And if आप अगर ये एक्सपीरियंस नहीं लोगे, बैंक वाला भी आपको लोन या इन्वेस्टमेंट नहीं देगा. आपको बार बार जाना पड़ेगा और आपको वो इंटरेस्ट दिखाना पड़ेगा. Only you show that passion and interest, only on the 10th or 11th time he will be willing to sign the even talk to you. So that is the three letters caught me on that day. And I told myself, any day if I write a book, it should be Dhool Dhoop Dhakka. And I think it was just divine intervention for us to get connected with all these great entrepreneurs from Dindigul to Agra and to US. And it was just magic which just happened. And also Sri Lanka, I should thank you are here. You connected us to Anil Foods, and then the journey started. Arjun was one of our first stories. Though I knew Arjun, but it was a bit scary when we started because professional interview was something which we did not even know. But I think we put both of us put great effort, and the first day when it went well, and our journey started. The book itself, when we talk about entrepreneurship, it has been an entrepreneurial journey. It is just not magic for us as well. We had to go through a lot of challenges. We had to go through face COVID. We had to be perseverance. We have not missed any weekend. So I am not joking or kidding here. From 15th of August, we probably started in the first week of September last year. We have been continuously working every weekend, every holiday. The only holiday which I didn't work or Arun didn't talk about is the recent Diwali holiday. That was also one day, and rest all of these days till today and this moment, we have been continuously working. And that is the inspiration and perseverance which we both kept motivating each other. We had our own challenges, we had our own uh, issues as well, and then we had to overcome all those challenges. COVID was a kind of a big surprise for us because we had almost finished 60-70% of our work, and then we were not sure whether the story will take off. We wanted to publish the book on 25th of February, and today it is 10th December. You can see how long the journey has been, but every time we have been pushing the date, we have been able to evolve. The book has evolved probably 10x, 30x from the date every time we have pushed. And I also thank all the entrepreneurs who shared their stories, the insights which they gave, the tips they have shared. The three, four words which they consistently used. They used opportunity, they used passion, they used perseverance, they used the word never give up. These are 4 or 5 golden words if any entrepreneur who wants to start as an entrepreneur understand the meaning of that. I think they will be able to sustain for a long time. There is in our website and the book also on the last page, there is a diagram which we created out of these stories. So it's a culmination of two gentlemen who gave this insight: Mr. Kumarvel, who is there on the show, and Mr. Mahendran, who also taught us about professional entrepreneurship. So it is PhD. Mr. Kumarvel said entrepreneurs should have PhD, which is passion, hunger, and discipline. And we kind of, I was struggling to figure out the diagram, how to put this in a diagram. And then one fine day, somehow it worked, and I was brainstorming with Arun, and then finally we got a couple of people also to validate it, and finally we got the diagram right. So if you just have passion and discipline, if you miss hunger, there is no scalability. If you have hunger and discipline, if you don't have passion, what people said, value creation, you will miss value creation. If you have passion and hunger, you'll miss discipline, which is again you're taking too much of loss making or risks which you are taking. So this is the intersection of all these three circles, which is a mixture of entrepreneur and professional entrepreneur, which is a kind of a ratio. If you look at 60-40, being 60% being entrepreneurial and 40% being professional entrepreneur, it gives you a great ROI. And that's a personal stories which has come through, and it is not by just experiment or some theory. It is a diagram which is created out of the book, and it did not originate just somewhere else. And I think that was a great source of inspiration for all of us. And each of these stories have taught us to be self-disciplined. Financial discipline is something which they taught each entrepreneur to be. Education system is something which everybody focused that, including Dr. Shalini and Rahul, though they say even in medical education, we should bring accountancy and finance as a subject, because people need to understand how to run the business, how to become entrepreneurs. There are engineering colleges, MBA colleges, and professional colleges which do not teach you entrepreneurship. Entrepreneurship initially should begin at home and then at school. The third point, which I want to also talk about, is our parents have been very protective for all of us. They do not want us to fail. They want us always to be succeed. I ask all the parents not to fear about failure. Let your children fail at the initial stages. Once they fail and once they can understand the reasons for failure, they can stand on their own feet and create great companies. Why the European or the American or the Chinese companies can create greater entities is because of their earlier failures, because these are the kids who used to work in Starbucks or McDonald's, and they see the process, how the systems are or the companies are built, and they can visualize the scale because they are working in such great companies right at the beginning when they are doing their schooling or internship there. And that is something which we need to start in each of our colleges and push the students to become entrepreneurial and professional entrepreneur. They will learn professional entrepreneurship on the way, but they have to be entrepreneurial to become great entrepreneurs. Keller also said in his message, uh, believe in your dreams. There are investors who are looking for great ideas. There are no great ideas. That is why people do not get funding. If you believe in your ideas, you will definitely get funded, and keep dreaming big. Vikas is another story which he just dreamt of from nowhere. Today, the position where he's reached, and teaching us, all of us, how perseverance will help you. I think for us also, it was perseverance, it was hard work. We had interviews which we took at early morning 5:30, and we worked till early morning 4 o'clock. So it has never been an easy journey, and entrepreneurship will only start this way. And we had to experience this journey to become successful. And today we can talk about it because we have gone through that phase. We have met these great 14 people, and people like you and people others who have supported us in this endeavor. I think I thank all of them and the God, the great divine intervention for us connecting and making this a grand success. It's a personal milestone. My parents have also joined thanks to Zoom because of the digital world. They are joined from Mysore. They can also see me live today. And thanks for all their blessings and prayers. And Arun's family is also joined. I think we should also thank that. I always say the guy who created internet, we should thank him for everything what is happening in our lives today. And thank you so much, Arunji. You can give vote of thanks. I think thank you so much, Rohan. Thank you everyone for participating.
Yeah.
So that's really nice. Very, very emotional, yet practical vote of thanks, Deepak, I must say. did really reflect your industrious work, both what you and Arun have put in over the last many months. And I'm personally very grateful and thankful to both of you for giving me an opportunity to, talk to so many people and, really host this session as a moderator. Thanks to everybody who attended, also not missing out Sakshi Sharda, who's been the person helping us with the videos. So well done. And I think with that, we can close this. Maybe with the number of people who are here, we can still do the chorus Dhool Dhoop Dhakka, Entrepreneurship by Design, which means that we all will say together. Maybe Sakshi, you can do 1, 2, 3, and we all say together in chorus Dhool Dhoop Dhakka, Entrepreneurship by Design. I'm going to show a copy of the book. If you have one, please show. Otherwise, you can just cheer up. Is that okay?
Yeah. Everyone would please switch on the videos. That would be great.
Yes, please switch on your videos so that you can be seen. We'll try to use this picture on LinkedIn and a number of other social media platforms. Thanks again. Signing off, Rohan Mokhtali for this evening from Aditya's HR Advisory. Good evening, Shabbat.
1, 2, 3.
Dhool Dhoop Dhakka.
Dhool Dhoop Entrepreneurship by Design.
Entrepreneurship by Design.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you.
All the best, Deepak.
Thanks, everybody. Good night, Shubhratri. Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.